How do you network with potential hedge fund clients? How do you find these people? How do you set up your own hedge fund? Well, this is a question I got asked from cam.riaz on Instagram, and this is my answer. Now, okay, let's just skip the part where you're setting up a hedge fund, because that's another topic altogether, like how do you do it and what do you do? I'm not talking about that here. What you need to actually be doing is figuring out, have you got that network? If you don't, then you shouldn't even have this conversation. But if you have and you want to create a network, then this is how you do it. Now, I've started my network in this industry since 2004, when I actually was in the property industry. So those who don't know anything about me, I went to university, I was an optician, hated it because I found it too easy. I'm technically too academic and I find things easy, and I wanted to learn something more, and quite bluntly, I wanted to make a lot of money because I had none growing up. So my biggest aim was to help people in my family by earning lots of money, because nobody else was going to do it. It was going to be me. So I thought, right, let's get super wealthy. How do I do that? So when I actually realized that property had a lot of money, I started building a really good network. How? By going to property networking groups. That was the first place I went to. When you find the big boys in the group, which is quite obvious because it's the ones who've got lots of money, and property is very, very open and industry. People talk about stuff quite nicely. It's quite a nice industry to initially get your high net worth clients. I would quite strongly mention that every wealthy person will always have a property portfolio. If they don't, then well, I haven't yet come across anyone in my network that hasn't got a property portfolio that is super wealthy. So that would be my first place. Go to property networking groups and hang out with people that are very wealthy. But remember, for them to even ever invest in you or a hedge fund that you sort of created, you've got to be worthy of having that time and that trust with them. What is it that you bring to the table, or what's your track record with them or anything else in business? Make sure you've got a really strong track record in business, whether you're doing deals already, whether you're starting off, whatever, but you need to have some traction. You can't be like this new kid that's super excited and is just gassing their way through but has no substance. I hate those kind of individuals who just think they can get away with just by talking. You can't. You need to actually do. So that's a big thing. You need to show by doing. You need to over deliver on your promises when you're in this industry. Now, that was my first place of call when I went to find high net worths. I didn't actually go out and do that on purpose. It just happened because that's what property is like. Anyway, when I eventually had a very good circle of friends, I then moved into the financial industry because it's very linked. I do believe that it's people become investors. They think about what's the next investment. They want to look into new investment vehicles, and very often that will involve at one point hedge funds, whether they're offering bonds, whether they're offering stock, whether they're offering real estate investment trusts, or if they're of course doing FX. So it depends on what your vehicle is and what the excitement is in the investment. Now, to get that kind of clientele, forex for me and introducing clients to hedge funds was a whole different ballgame. You've really got to raise your game. You cannot be just a normal little networker. You've got to raise your profile. You've got to be very professional in your everything. Your LinkedIn needs to be a professional. You need to come across professional. You can't hang around with the same scatty people you did when you were 20. And if you do, and you think you're going to close someone with $1 billion in net worth, then I highly doubt it. See, the good thing about hanging out with a good crowd is that you need to be exactly you need to be the byproduct of a high net worth individual. So for you to create that high net worth rapport, you've got to be high net worth as well. So one, build yourself some wealth, okay? So don't just talk about it, go out and do it. Because if you're not building and if you're not getting your hands dirty in investments, whether it's property, like I started with, I've got a really good strong portfolio and I love it and I understand the industry. Then I went into financial trading. I did my trading myself. Then I actually used the clients in my network to then introduce to another hedge fund trader who then gave me his revenue split. I negotiated a very good passive income stream from a hedge fund trader and said, look, if I could bring you high net worth clients and they open up, starting accounts of 250k onwards to $500,000 to then 1 million, they will get, when they see a return, wealthy people will invest more, which is normal. I was getting a revenue split. So whatever the trader made, I made 30%, which was pretty good. You know, I negotiated that. So you need to be a good negotiator. Now, how you find these people, you need to be hanging out in private members clubs in London. That's where I was in a lot of the time. Private members clubs, probably the best thing in the world, I would say. The other thing would be referrals. Like if you've got a strong network, then apart from private members clubs, you don't want to be like the annoying person just talk to random strangers. But if you've got a decent network, then you just ask each other, like, who have you got that you would recommend that would be interested in this? And like, look in your LinkedIn, look in your mobile phone, look at the people around you. If people like you, if they trust you, they will open up their network to you. You need to be that person they all trust. So ultimately it comes down to recreate yourself to be a really high level version of yourself. So recreate yourself. You cannot do this stuck in a village in like Sheffield or Newcastle or Manchester on your own. I mean, Manchester's quite an affluent area, I give it that. But you cannot look at yourself. You can't be sitting in a house all by yourself and not going to high net worth places. Like, why do you think I moved to south of France? Like Monte Carlo and private members clubs in Monte Carlo and the network in Geneva, and I'm in a very different area now compared to what I used to be just in London. I wanted to expand to an international audience. So I hope that helped. The best thing is it's really enjoyable, and you become a person that you really enjoy. Like, you will enjoy the process of networking with these people, because if you really study where you're going in life, it's all about who you're becoming. So if you enjoy the person you're becoming, the people that you hang around with, you can choose and pick the people you do business with. You don't need to do business with every single guy that's wealthy or female. You can pick the ones you like, because once you do business with them, it's a reflection of you. So do you really like this person to be a part of your business? Are they part of your value system? You know, so you can get, I'm at that point now where I handpick who I want to work with based on that value. So I really love it. That's how I've personally done it. If you've got any other ideas, let me know. But, you know, go out there and do it. Enjoy it. See you guys soon. Bye.